you pray, everything will be alright. When you pray, everything will work out fine. Just have faith. When you pray, when you need a friend, when you need a friend, just have faith. When you pray. Oh, hey everybody. So Arthur Drum Show. I am he. It is the weekend edition. Baby. Hey y'all. How y'all doing? Walking in the park, waiting for you to sign on in. Hey, I want to do something real quick. It's a beautiful fall season out here. It's about, I don't know, it feels like 65 degrees. It's nice and cool. It's a great night for a walk with your boo. Y'all should be out walking tonight. Walk with your boo. Put on a nice jacket, sweater, hat, something. Comfortable shoes. Hey Terry. Hey Bev. Hey Keisha. And get out and walk with your boo in the night. It's good. Feels good out here. Antonia. I want to talk about when couples come together and pray or study scriptures. Y'all ain't gonna like this one because you're not into that. There's some people who will tune into Romance in the Park to hear just a lot of spicy stuff. But when we get to talk about spiritual matters, they shut it off. You know why they shut it off? Because they're really not into that kind of stuff. It's really about physical touch. And some people ain't that for that reason. Why? I don't know. It's a selfish reason to be in just for that. And the spiritual mind or the spiritual aspect of a person is not being affected positively by your lover. That's a problem. If you're with somebody who you've never, ever once heard them pray, either by themselves or they invited you in to pray with them, that's a problem. Yeah, if y'all been a couple for a while, even if you've been a couple for a week and there was no talk on the spirituality, guess what's going to happen in that relationship? When a problem arises, y'all going to both be trying, one or two or both are going to be running to God when the problem arises. And when you get to him, God is going to say, I've been there all the time. Where were you when things were going great? You see, when these hurricanes came, Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey, and these tornadoes came, when they came and wiped out these territories, the people asked the question, where was God? We always hear that, and I'm sure God is tired of hearing that where was God stuff when he was there when things were going great for you before the hurricane. When you went down to the bank and asked them to give you a mortgage, they said yes, God was there. When you went down to the car lot and asked the man to give you a car with a 5% interest, God was right there. Yeah, when you went to the doctor and they gave you a great bill of health, God was there. You opened the refrigerator and all that food was in there, falling out. Yeah, God was there. When your 401k went up, you got that raise on the job. Yeah, God was there. Blessings, Michael Gibson. Yeah, he was there. So when a catastrophe happens, you think, or you bring God up all of a sudden, but you didn't bring him up when things were going great for you. You think your ability to work on that job all those years and retire and pull from some retirement account, or your FICO score was 850, so you think you but you didn't thank God until the hurricane, snow came, rainstorm came, the brush fires came. Then you ask God, where was he? His answer is always the same. Oh, I was there all the time. I never left you. I was waiting patiently in love. I was there, holding you up and giving you the grace that you needed, giving you the strength and waking you up every morning to go on that job that you begged me for, and I got it for you. So when a catastrophe happens, you think I left you? I didn't leave you. And these are some of the things we need to talk to one another as couples about. Where was God? No, where is God? Well, he's still right here. Look to your right, there he is. Look to your left, there he is. Look inside. That's where he dwells. We should praise, worship, and thank him all the time. Men should always pray and not faint. So when you couples come together again, I think it would be a great idea that y'all say, you know what? Turn the TV off. Yeah, turn the TV off. Yeah, let's not do what we always do. Let's not make it just another boring night of just touchy, feely. Let's hold hands, talk to God together. You'd be surprised. Brothers, I'm about to help you out. Brothers, do you not know that one of the most romantic things you can do in front of a godly woman, I had to put in that adjective, one of the most romantic things you can do to a godly woman is tell her or ask her if you would pray with me. One of the most spiciest, hot, juiciest, most romantic things you can do in front of a godly woman is to lift your hands in praise. I mean, without people begging you to do it. One of the greatest things you can do in front of her is show your adoration and love for God. Yeah. And watch how she look at you. Watch how secure she feels. Watch how adorable you will become to her because she's seeing a godly man worshiping the very God that she's in love with. You see, women are in love with God. There's a song that says, falling in love with Jesus, falling in love with Jesus. Women are in love with him. Jesus is waiting on the brothers, though, to fall in love with him. So, when you fall in love with Jesus, the woman that you in love with, watch how she treats you. Watch how she act around you. Watch how she gauge you in the eye. Watch how she's going to want to spend more time with you because she's seeing that you done invited a third entity into this relationship. And she approved. His name is Jesus. It's hard sometimes because of the vicissitudes of life. We all caught up in work and children and all kind of things, and church. We put all those things, and that's something, we put church before God. Yes. We get caught up in the work of the church and not the church itself. Yes. So God is saying, I miss my time with you. Those moments together. He missed those times when you were single, when you had that time where you just spent with him and him alone. Before the woman came along, before the man came along, you spent good time, quality time with him. And then when she or he came along, not that much at all. So he's kind of wanting y'all to kind of return to that. So couples, I think it'd be a great idea for y'all, if you're gonna walk, why don't you walk and just ask your lover to just maybe say a prayer and bless the union that you guys have. I'm talking about you ain't got to be married. I mean, matter of fact, you should have started praying when you were single. Don't wait till you're married to start praying. You should be praying while you're single. when you're looking at her and says, God, she's beautiful. Oh my God, did you see her eyes? Look at her skin. Look at the dark or the lightness of her skin. Look at the freckled. Look at the brown eyes. Look at the blue liner in her eye. Wink, wink, okay? I mean, look at her neck, how tall, long, elongated it is, okay? Look at her, whether she's big or small or short or tall. God, I'm attracted to this beautiful woman that you have created. You made her a helpmeet for man, and there I am right in her presence. If you could just get her to see that I have feelings for this woman. You saying all this to God, and you talking to him, and he gonna make it plain, because whoso findeth a wife finds a good thing. So you got to start the process of finding that wife is by admiring the outward appearance. I'm trying to tell y'all something, Vanessa, church. I'm trying to tell you, and then you're talking to God, and then when y'all start dating, bring her in the conversation. Bring her in, say, hey babe, yeah, I was talking to God about you. Ooh, brothers, I'm telling you. You see, women going to invite you to her church. She going to invite you. Oh, the invitation is coming, and she going to look at you. She going to dance. She going to sing. She going to play her tambourine. She going to jump up and shout. All these things, but she going to look at you to see how you act in church. Yes, she is. And she's checking you out, you see, because the church to her, when she bring you, that is a training ground. Yeah, that is an observation place. She want to see how you act. You act romantic at the movie. You act romantic when we go out to Bennigan's. Any Bennigan's out there anymore? No, I don't think so. When we go out to that Ruth Chris, okay? You act romantic when we go to the park, we go to the lakefront. You do all that. But when we go to church, she gonna be checking you out. She checking you out. Tiff, y'all checking the brother out. And if he look like a bump on a log, ladies, let me tell you something. Run, Forrest, run. You see, because when you follow him to the NBA, to the arena, to the Bulls Stadium, when you see him in those places, he playing ball, watch him. He excited, ain't he? He going bug wild, ain't he? That's like his church. That's where he worshiped the most. Matter of fact, he go so crazy, he would take his shirt off and paint his chest the colors of the team or the number of the guy who he liked the most, the mascot. He go crazy. Then he come to your church and sit like a bump on a log. He won't move. He's in a strange place. But brothers, the most romantic thing you can do is lift your hands and worship God in the presence of your woman. Watch how she act. Watch how secure she act. All around. Watch how she began to run to you for advice, for comfort. She want you to pray with her. I'm trying to tell you, brothers, I'm trying to help y'all out with this. You ain't listening. When you show that you have an attraction for God, your woman is going to have an attraction for you. And when that happens, then you know. You just know. You say, know what? You know. You just know. And when it's sincere, when it comes from the heart, you know. You know. See, when I got married, me and my wife didn't pray. We didn't pray year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9. We didn't pray. We never grabbed hands, never took the Bible, never had a family prayer. Nope. I did it with my children, but I didn't do it with my wife. But year about 9 and a half, when we started having major problems, then I had this great idea. Hey, we need to pray. And she laughed. She laughed not because she thought it was a bad idea. She laughed because I had never asked her, can we pray? And it dawned on me. And we prayed. We settled something. And that marriage was over. So God, don't ever let that happen again. That will never happen again. It will never happen again. So I've learned to bring God in everything that I do. When I go to the bank, I bring God in it. When I get in the car and start the engine, I said, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for allowing me to sit in this car. Thank you, God, for keeping me safe. And thank you, God, for you're going to take me to this destination. And I pray. A lot of times you don't know I'm praying. Men should always pray. It don't have to be loud and audible that folk can hear it. You just do it within yourself. Well, I mean, look at people who are mute. How do you think they pray? If they can't talk, they pray in their hearts. That's how men pray. But oh, brothers, when your woman knows that you are a prayer, that you have a praying spirit, you have a praying characteristic about yourself, yeah, she ain't gonna go to nobody else but you for counsel, for help, for prayer. She coming to you because you're already jealous because pastor is getting all of that time from your woman. Deacon Bopo getting all that time. Evangelist Cheryl getting all that time. Okay, Prophet Hananiah is getting all of that time. See, but she come to you for money, for a back rub. She come to you for running errands, and she don't come to you for spiritual matters. That's a problem, brothers. If your woman can never come to you for spiritual matters, something's wrong with you, and you are totally going against what God has instituted in the home. He told the man he's responsible for even rearing the children in holiness. Yep, men. You have to go to Deuteronomy, I don't know, chapter 6, okay? And then it repeats itself. I don't know, maybe in the 11th chapter as well. But it's all up in there. And the man's responsibility is to set that house in order spiritually. Did you hear what I said? Yes, I did. And he is to take care of a wife like Christ took care of the church, because you know what Christ did for the church? He gave his life for it. So he makes and molds her. The man does. He makes and he molds her. Our Father did that. And some women today think that it is inappropriate for a man to make and mold a woman, because y'all got caught up in this women's, I don't know, liberality type, the new words that y'all don't use women's lib no more, you use something else. You got caught up in that stuff, and what it did was it took away the structure of what God has done as far as putting man and woman together. You are a helpmeet for the man as he rules and lead, but he's supposed to rule and lead godly, not from his own flesh and lust and earthly desires. No, he's supposed to lead properly. He's supposed to make her. My father made my mom the way she is today. Yes, he did. They found each other when they were teenagers, and my mother's father had died, and my father came in, and this may seem freaky, but my father became my mom's father in a sense. Now, some of y'all are too deep to understand this concept, and I said this before, and some of y'all are like, that's creepy. I don't care what you say. My parents raised 9 healthy children who know God. And these children, me, my brothers and sisters, we understand now. We understand what my father and mother was trying to do, but what my father was trying to do was raise somebody up whom he can love and cherish like Christ did the church. And my father went through pain and agony and blood and sweat and tears. He was teaching my mother stuff. He was teaching her like she was his own child. He was teaching her how to cook, and he was buying stuff for her so she can sew. You know, he taught her how to drive. My mama didn't even have pierced ears. I mean, he got her ears pierced. I mean, all kinds of stuff. He was raising her like his own daughter. But what he was doing was he was building up this perfect wife for him, because she had not got that training, because father had died. So my father became her father as well as her husband. I know y'all think it's creepy, but I think it's one of the most romantic stories I've ever seen physically with my own eyes. And to this day, my mother is in a wheelchair now. She's wheelchair bound. She can't move around unless my father is there, and he's did the reverse. Everything she's ever did for him, he's doing it now in return. He does all the cooking, he does all the cleaning, he takes her wherever she needs to go, he goes to the grocery store, he does whatever he needs to do for my mom. Because my mother thanked him for raising her. In return, she gave him all those babies. She kept that house clean, kept the babies cooked, fed, kept the babies fed, and clothed, because my mother made all of our clothes. Sure did. Come Easter and all these little graduations, all that stuff, please. Them stores they lost money on my family. Why? Because my mother went down there to Minnesota Fabrics. Went down into the fabric store. She went there with a measuring stick and some scissors, you know what I'm saying? And she cut that stuff by the yard, went home to her Zynga sewing machine and sold clothes for 7 boys. I ain't talking about no pants, I ain't talking about no jacket, I'm talking about a 3-piece suit with the matching tie and socks. My mother did all of that because she was a homemaker. How was she able to do that? My father went out there and hustled. He brought home the money, and she was able to buy the things that she needed. But when he met her, she was only about 17 years old, I believe, and she really didn't know none of that stuff. And my father fell in love with her and says, I'm going to make you the woman that I desire. And in return, God made her a helpmeet for him. He can't live without her now. Brothers, one of the most romantic things you could do is to place your woman before the altar and say, now God, I like this woman right here. Show me her. What can I do to better her life? And help me to bridle my tongue and be a little more transparent so that she can see through me, whether I tell it or whether she can just see it, so that she can be a good helpmeet for me. Because children may come out of this relationship, and my children will be blessed. This is something that needs to be instilled in every home, in every molehill and valley, every hamlet. Yeah. Miles Monroe said it best. He said the man is to cultivate his wife. She should say, cultivate me, baby. That's what I'm saying. God rest his soul, Miles Monroe. And he's absolutely right. Cultivate. And again, maybe today's women don't feel like that's the way to go, but if you want to have an everlasting relationship, I'm talking about those relationships that live in the ever after. The happily ever after relationship. You want to have that? Next time you with your man, you crack open the Word of God and y'all start reading together. If he don't want to read, that's a sign. Ask him to pray with you or pray for you. If he don't want to pray, that's a sign. You see, it ain't about church. See, what y'all doing wrong, ladies, you're trying to force your man to go to church. That church is not the place for him, because he looks at that as a harem. Yeah, that's a den, a women's den. Yeah. That's a place to take your money, to take your woman, and it's a place, the quorum is all about women's. Men don't like going there. So, create an atmosphere in your house for worship. You can do that if you have wisdom. See, y'all use this thing called women's intuition, but you only use it when you want to trick a man up and trap him, catch him in a lie. But this, you have a gift. This intuition, y'all call it, it's a gift. It's a God-given gift, and you can use it to build your man up. But because you haven't done it in so long, a man is He don't know what to do when you ask him to do something spiritual with him. He have no idea what to do because you haven't done it. Because you wanted something from him in return. Something physical, something financial, some kind of security. And you didn't bring in the spiritual, so he got used to it and you enabled this. Go back. Do your first works over. Go back. Research. Ask God, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I've been derelict to duty. Now help me with this. Because the man ain't going to do it. He's living in the La Vida Local. He's loving the fact that he thinks everything is fine. You know everything ain't well spiritually. It ain't. Have you started your manuscript? Yes, I did, Miss B. I have. I have a book. I've been setting y'all up for a while called Romance in the Park. I've been setting y'all up on all these shows I've been doing, all these series I've been doing. Oh, man, I've been setting y'all up. Right, and this book is based off of many of these shows that I've been doing here in the park. Okay, this one here might be chapter 4. I don't know. Absolutely, these are some of the things that I've witnessed. I've seen this in my own home. I've seen it in my parents' home, and I've seen it in some of y'all's homes because you bring it to church, and I can tell by the way y'all act that things ain't right in your home. And we know it. And the sister who you're trying to keep your man from, she knows it. She can smell it on him or the lack thereof. Oh, yeah. See, when she walk up and smell, take a sniff, she can tell that ain't no pheromones on him. Your pheromones ain't on him. Your perfume ain't on him. She can tell. She could say, she could hug that man and tell that his woman ain't taking care of him at home. And guess what she's going to do? She's going to step in. Ah, man. Telling y'all I've been there. I'm telling y'all from my own personal experiences. Go to my old shows where I talk about the girl who would give me gifts at church. She would give me ties and things like that and call me cute names like my brother. This is my brother in the Lord. Yeah, and I was married at the time, and my wife said, "That girl like you?" And I said, "No, she don't. I'm her brother." "No, you ain't. You her lover in her mind." I said, "You's a lie." "No, she ain't." And that girl called the house. I told y'all this story before. She called the house. My wife answered the phone, and on the other end, that girl hung up the phone on my wife. She called 2 more times, and she hung up the phone. But the next time it rang, my wife said, "You answer the phone. It's for you. It's the plumber. I come to fix the sink." And sure enough, I picked up the phone, and guess who it was? My brother was on the phone. And I says, I'm in trouble. Now, how do I go to church and face this woman who's giving me all these ties, these bow ties and neckties, saying my brother, but my wife was a prophetess. She knew. She knew. You see, you have to understand, at that time, that little girl knew that home ain't right. Ain't nothing going on at home. Because when I hug Walter, he don't have her pheromones. He don't have his wife's perfume, his wife's body wash, his wife's lipstick. He don't have her on his body. They ain't touching. There's a void. There's a leak in the faucet, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket. Yeah, she do it. And many of the women know it, brothers in your church. So how do you rectify that? How do you rectify it? If you love her, because some of your relationships are over anyway, y'all are living at home with each other, it's over. It's done. Some of you who are married, your relationship is done. You're just there because it's convenience, it's security. You're there because you both got your name in, both names are on the mortgage, all kind of stuff. All right. So I can't really talk about y'all because really y'all trying to get rid of this relationship. All right. So I'm not really talking to you. That's a whole nother show, and I'll have to do a show that I'm planning on this coming a week or two. 3 shows I'm doing here in the park. One's called Before Divorce, During Divorce, and After Divorce. I'll be doing those 3 shows. So that's not today. All right. I'm talking to the ones who have an opportunity. You can actually fix your marriage right now. Now, some of y'all says, well, they can fix it too. Well, you know, it's so easy to talk about what folk can fix when you're not in that situation. When a woman is done, brothers, she's done. She's done. She's done in her mind. She's done. And you can counsel 24 hours a day with the greatest counselors in the world. She's done. You're wasting time and money for some. Why? They're done. Ask me how I know. They're done with you. So the next step is called during divorce. And again, I'll do that show and I'll tell you some things that I've had to endure. Once I realized it's over, even though we're still in the same house, even though we sleep in the same bed, when I realized it's over with, I began to work on the divorce process. I'm not talking about going to the lawyer. I'm not talking about filling out paperwork. No, the divorce process up here. Okay, the divorce process of it's like finding a new job. Okay, but you're still in the old job. You don't quit the old job and then go look for a new job. The divorce process is you count your pennies. You got to find a place. You got to change some things. Be doing that while you're in still the marriage. Those things have to be done. And sometimes those things have to be done in secret. Some things you can, once you both decide that you want to do this and you guys are civil with it, and then you both can say, okay, here's what we need to do. You do your thing, I do my thing, as we try to find other places to live and separate our accounts and all these things and utilities. Okay, you could be doing that together if you're civil, but if you're not civil, you may have to do that on your own. Because if you'll tell each other you're doing that, then there's some things that's going to happen, sly things going to happen underhanded, and it's not going to be pretty whatsoever. Before you know it, that easy, no-fault divorce is going to turn into a big alimonial, child supportio, big mess, and you don't want that to happen. You know your situation. It's special to you. I can't tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I had to do. So for those of you who are so deep and think that every marriage can be repaired, except God says can be repaired, and sometimes he ain't talking to y'all. So except he said, many of the marriages today, they're not repairable. Why? She's done. And she needs to move on. You got to deal with it. You got to face it and get it over with and do it as soon as you can, because the longer you're in there, the worse it is, the more you get into slump into a depressive state. And sometimes it can be very dangerous because sometimes men could be a little more dangerous than women can be. Okay? And we cannot keep pushing women back into homes that are dangerous. It's not healthy, it's not godly, and God, even though he hates divorce, but what he does want is peace, and he will attain peace at any cost. And if divorce will get him to that peace between the two of you, then divorce is imminent. It has to happen. This is not teaching that you will not get from your pastors. You're not going to get it. I get in trouble with y'all's pastors all the time. Some people think that I'm just teaching this false doctrine, but your church is empty, is miserable, and all these people coming in your church, and they look like they've been seeing deer and they look like deer in headlights. And you saying I'm teaching a crazy gospel in your church? Got everybody in there messing around with everybody? Something wrong. Why don't you just dissolve this thing and stop fooling yourself? You fooling the people, and you're trying to fool God, but he ain't that crazy. So in some of your cases, not all of you, I'm talking about some of you, it's time to cut your loss and get out while you can, and save the mentality of your children. Because they're seeing this and they will remember this and think that this is normal. And guess what's going to happen in their relationships as well? All right. So those are precursors to my before divorce, during divorce, and after divorce series. It's not for all of you. It's only for some of you who are in it right now. Okay? And that's going to be a very difficult chapter in that book. A very difficult chapter or chapters. That's 3 chapters. Very difficult for me to write about that stuff, because in order for me to write about it, I may have to talk about what I went through. That's hard. Because I believe in protecting people. I don't believe in telling people, I don't believe in telling certain things with people that I'm with or been with or married or something, because you guys don't, I've never mentioned my wife's name. Except you family or very close friends of mine who know her. I never. And I tried never to talk about her in a negative light or derogatory. I will never do it, ever. I will always protect her till I die. There are things I will never tell you. I can never do that because she has been made in God's image, in the likeness of God. And how dare I do that? Because so was I made in the likeness of God. How dare she do the same? Karen, so you tell the truth. I have lived it and I'm watching it firsthand. I know, Karen Payne, there's only a few of you on here will agree with me. It's reality. And you don't understand other people's reality. They're hurting. Their people are dying in their marriages. They are literally dead in their marriages. They're living with strangers, and you keep trying to tell them they got to go to all this counseling, and you're throwing oil on them, and you don't understand. Those people are done with each other. You can't force two people to fall back in love with each other. You cannot do it. So from a distance, you pray and ask God for His will. Other than that, you can't force couples to stay together. And it's difficult because children are seeing their parents divorce and they're begging their parents, please, y'all go out and date, go do something, go to counseling, all this stuff. But the parents are really done. And they're only together because they're trying to keep face in the community. He might be a political figure. She might be up in echelon, and they're trying to keep face in church and community and what have you. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it because you got this one life, and you're miserable because you're trying to keep the house. Is that house worth you being depressed every day you wake up in the bed with a strange person if y'all sleeping together? I don't ever want to live that life ever again. I vow never to do that again. That will never happen. That would never happen. Because what you're doing is you're going day by day living a lie, and the people who are talking to you or you talking to them, they can tell that something ain't right. Something's not right. Come on, LT. Yeah, man, not the oil. Yes, something ain't right. They know something's not right with you. They can't put their fingers on it. And some people have a great discerning of spirit, and they know there's something wrong in your marriage. They know it. And you keep going back home to all this bondage. And you're paying a mortgage to live in a bondage situation? Oh, no. Hecky to the no. Not me. I'm too old to live in a penitentiary. I ain't doing it. Yeah, Beverly said, you good though? Good. All right then. When the church was full of adultery, how can you get help? Well, there it is. Get out of that church. Y'all taking this thing to somewhere that I really don't want to go. Okay? I will say this, and it seems like I beat up the church a lot, and yeah, I do. That's all I know. All right? If you're part of a church, you know all that stuff is going on in that particular church house. I just don't understand why y'all keep going back to this. Why do y'all keep going back to the same cesspool? I don't understand that. I'm not a perfect man. I have my flaws. Even now, I have struggles, okay? And I'm one of the rare ministers who will tell you about my transparencies, my struggles, and my flaws, things that I fight with in the flesh and in the spirit. I tell you all this stuff, okay? Now, the specifics is none of your business, but I will tell you that I am a man with flaws, and if you meet a man who ain't got no flaws, you ain't met no man. He a ghost. Okay? So, I'm letting y'all know this so that you can hear me when I say these things. When I talk about y'all's situation, y'all can say, well, he's saying these things because he went through that. I've been through what y'all gone through. I've been through it, man. And when you read my book, you're going to see even worse things that I'm only going to tell in the book. I'm telling you, I've been through hell. Karen, He's a liar. Who's a liar? What are you talking about? Okay, I've been through hell and back, and might be back in hell tomorrow, but to pull some of y'all up out of hell, though. I ain't going back because of something that I did. I'm going back to pull y'all out of hell. Come on, Diane. She said, you ain't by yourself. I'm telling y'all, it's bad out here among couples. It's bad. And so people don't want to stay together anymore because they're afraid. They're afraid to go back to it. Oh, yeah, right. Karen said, the man who says he has no flaws, he's a liar. Karen. I love you, Karen. I miss you, girl. I miss you. Amen. I'm looking forward to your event coming up real soon. But he is a liar. If we're honest, we all have flaws. Yes, Barbara, you're right. Yes. Everyone has flaws. Let me tell y'all something. I'm trying to fight back the tears because the more I talk about this, the more I'm remembering some of the things that I've done and the things that I've been involved in. I didn't try to get into that. I just woke up and there I was. Man, I'm telling y'all, I like that which is beautiful. Okay, I'm just a nobody. I'm a man like many of the men that y'all are dating right now. But I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I've been through some stuff, trying to do it the right way. Finally saying, okay, after my divorce, I remember after my divorce, I was just, this is some of the stuff that's in my book, and I have to be careful. I have to protect certain people because they know what they did to me. Okay, so I have to really be careful. I think it's important that you protect the people of God. All right, even though those who are not, who don't know God, you still got to protect people as much as you can because you might be the way to get them to Christ. You might be that way, and you don't want to mess that thing up. There was more adultery in the church than in the world. Yeah, well, Karen, I wouldn't say there's more. No, because you're not in the world, Karen. So I wouldn't say that there's more. Okay, but there is a lot. I was in a relationship. No, I wasn't in a relationship. Let me take that back. I was not interested in being in a relationship. Okay, but I was kind of pushed into that. Yeah, I was kind of pushed into that. I remember being in the house with a woman who just took advantage of me. She ripped my clothes off. She said, "I gotta have sex. I gotta have it." And I'm saying to myself, "But God, I don't even like this woman." I don't even like this woman. So, and I just come out of a divorce. It was hard for me. And then I was being attacked physically. I've never been attacked like that by a woman. It was just horrible. I could see if I wanted it. I ain't want it. But she attacked me. It was difficult for me. Because I know I was a fleshly man. I enjoyed sex. Sex was amazing. I'm not saying it's not amazing today. Okay? Yes, Barbara Joseph. I'm not saying sex is not amazing today, but sex was amazing. This is back in the this is maybe 1999, 2000, something like that, 2000 or so. And there I was in a situation where I had to decide whether to pull away Barbara and leave my coat in this woman's hands or let her have everything that she wants. It was difficult for me. And I gave in. What did that do? Giving in? What did it do? It caused me to be in this relationship for 4 years after that. Soul tie. She planted a seed. There it was. Then I couldn't pull away from her. Woke my body up. Messed me up. And then scandals and all this other stuff happened after that. Just woke me up. Messed me up. So when I come out here in the park and talk to y'all about things men did as well as women did, you could hear me because I'm telling y'all what happened to me. She acted like a cougar. Why? Because she just assumed, here it is, that I was just another one of those men who wanted sex, and because she hadn't had it in a while, she saw me being a single man and said, he's available. It's a perfect storm. He in my house. I know he wanted, so let me take it. She was not expecting me to reject it, though. And I rejected it. So I found myself beating her off of me until I couldn't take it anymore. And I gave in. That was difficult for me. That walk from her apartment to my car after it was over was the longest walk in my life. Karen, it was the longest walk I'd ever walked in my life. Because for the first time I felt like a woman. Date rape. So when y'all ladies think that ain't no man out there know how it feels to be taken advantage of sexually, here I am. I was placed in the position of a woman who's been attacked by someone that they cared for. Wasn't so much in love. No, she just was nice, but I wasn't really sexually attracted to her. But she violated me. And I felt like a woman. And that was the longest walk to my car. Yep. Tina says when you're newly divorced, you're easy prey. And I was easy prey. And I sat in that car. It felt like for hours because I couldn't go home. I lived home alone because I was divorced. So I lived at home alone. Yep. Medusa spirit, succubus spirit. Yep, I know. Diane, that incubus and succubus and all those buses. Yeah, yep. Men get abused, violated just like women, Angela. I did a show on that and I saw the percentage of men who are sexually abused, and I was shocked after that. I was shocked. And I realized I was one of them. And I sat in that car and I cried. I felt rejected. I felt less than a man. And I didn't know what to do. The weirdest thing, because when I was in a place up here where I was done, I was settling in, I was seeking the Lord, and I was moving on with my future and going to raise my kids, that's when the attack happened. Amazing. Now we're fine today. I see her, she see me, and we don't talk about it. We act like nothing happened. We've forgiven each other, and we just move on in life. No problem. But I went through that. And it's so difficult sometimes to walk in this park and tell y'all some things, because I'm human, and sometimes you wonder what people say and think about you. And then there's some things, most things I tell y'all, I don't care what you think. If I don't do what I've been commissioned to do, if I don't do it, then I will get in trouble with my Creator. So I do them. And then throw the darts, and I duck, and I dodge, and I go home to be with my dog, Iris. And I get a good night's sleep. I don't toss and turn at night because of something I said on Facebook. I just don't do it. I have a lot of people here who pray with me, pray for me. They inbox me, they email me and telling me, thank you. I'm praying for you. You know, we're laying prostrate for you. We're interceding for you. There's so many of you out there who do that for me. And that gives me an extra boost to come out here another day to do this. You know, if y'all go on YouTube right now and y'all see this Janika Jenkins video that I did about the funeral being the church that denied them the funeral, which they did not, but you know what the story was. Look at the comments on that video and look at all of those people who called me all kind of names for that video. They hated that video more than they hated life itself. They were so mad at me, both the sinner and the Christian. Say, how dare an elder say those things about denying? Oh, they went off on me. And I just laughed. I said, well, God, thank you, because you said in the scriptures, woe unto you when all men speak well of you. You're gonna rub some people wrong. And I don't remember reading where Jesus went into the temple and spoke kind words to those who were selling the money changers. He didn't say, oh, y'all, get out of here now. Come on, y'all, get out of there. You're selling. You shouldn't be doing this. No, what did he do? He took a whip. He went in there and beat hell out of these money changers. And that's what I did. And I'm standing on it. And I will never, ever recant. I will never, ever apologize for every bit of what I said about that mess. Y'all think that Christians are weak. And you confusing meekness with weakness. I ain't no weak saint. I ain't no weak man. And I'm going to tell you your breath stink with the hope that you tell me my breath stink too. All right? And you give me some peppermint or piece of gum and I'm going to say, thank you. You helped me because I got to go talk to these other people. Well, I'm going to tell you too. And I'm going to tell you the truth. If it hurt me and if it severed our ties as friends, we were never friends. All right? So I'm going to tell you, you wrong, and you need to clean up your act. And now, your turn. Tell me I need to clean up my act, and I'll say thank you. So that's what makes the world go round. And that's what keeps us strong. We're made in the image of God. Don't pick up the phone and tell everybody about my mess. You see something that I'm doing, you see a picture or an inbox message that might be inappropriate or what have you, and you discovered it, and you go calling everybody and say that Diane sent all this stuff in. You the fool. Because the dog that brings the bone carry a bone. And God's going to get you, he's going to judge you for stirring up the discourse among the brethren. That's an abomination, you see. So I keep this stuff to myself. Conversations that I have with y'all, I keep them to myself. Things that I do out wherever I go and I'm walking with some of y'all, I keep that stuff to myself. I take it to my grave. It ain't nobody's business what you and I talk about. Ain't nobody's business of the selfish you and I do right here on the park. Ain't nobody's business. It will never be nobody's business. Because the people who dogged me, you don't know who they are, you don't know their name. All you know is somebody dogged Walter. I'll never expose them. Why? It's none of your business, and God has never gave me the right to expose nobody who wronged me. I won't do it. The only time I'll expose someone if I know that they are a danger to the kingdom and they're getting ready to, if they're molesters. Okay, if they're spiritual molesters or manipulators, and witchcraft is coming up, then I'll blow my horn as a clarion call for those of you who watch out for this fool right here, because he's coming your way, he's coming your children's way, he's coming to your church, he's coming to take from you. The spirit of Satan is in him, and watch him. That's the only time I would do that. Other than that, these are the people that do things towards me. I had to realize that I got scripture right. The Bible told me that the weapons of our warfare, it ain't carnal. I ain't fighting no flesh. I'm fighting a principality in that dude. So, sometimes I just sit back and pray for him that he get right. I don't believe in all that gossip, telling people what so-and-so did. I don't believe it. You talking to the wrong dude. I ain't gonna tell it. Do you think she could admit that she took advantage of you, vulnerable state, Tina? No. She won't admit that. She won't admit it. We've been through this. But let me tell you this. I took the blame for it. For the gossipers, some of the people who might have heard what happened. They pointed the finger at me and says, you're responsible for it. You caused it. So I took it to protect her. I did. Nice guys finish last. Ms. B says, who doesn't have a blemish? Even the long 10-year relationships. My husband made a decision to stay till death in the very beginning of our relationship for almost 30 years, and I fall in love with him over and over again from times. Wow. And it's amazing. Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Been divorced for 2 years. Still not time for me to be in a relationship. And Karen, I'm going to leave that comment alone. You got haters for the rest of your life's journey. Yep. Come on. Y'all preaching. Y'all are preaching here. Amen. Yeah. So I came on here to talk about coming together spiritually. For those of you who are lovers, you're in love with each other, and it's time for you to sit down with each other and explain your relationship with God to each other. Y'all already know your relationship with each other. Sit down with each other and say, you know what, I love God. Okay? Yes, you do. Yes, I do. What about you? You love God? And he gonna say, yeah, I do. Okay, tell me your relationship with God. When did you meet him? It's time for y'all to start talking about your relationship with God, because you want him to, you really want him in your relationship. You really do. You really want him in there. Okay, so y'all start talking about your all's relationship with him. I'm talking about single and marriage. So start talking about it. You'd be surprised what one person thinks. Okay, it's kind of hard for me because I want to talk about something that might be shocking to some of y'all, and I'll wait. But one of my issues with it's kind of difficult. It's time for me to shut it down. I had a problem with someone because of my religious beliefs opposed to her religious beliefs. I thought that we were together, but we were actually unequally yoked, even though we both were saved. Some of y'all are like, huh? That don't make any sense. Y'all both were saved, but unequally yoked? Yes. Because I believe in one system, I believe in one doctrine, and she believed in another doctrine, even though we both were saved. And that ruined our relationship. Yeah. Sometimes we put ourselves in bad positions. You shouldn't be somewhere, but go there anyway. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Now, the situation with me, Tina, was I wasn't in a bad situation. I was with a bunch of singles. We all were together. We were all together in the same house. I fell asleep. I woke up and all the singles were gone. Yeah. That happened. It was almost like it was a setup. That's in the book. I was set up. And it was like this girl, Kanika, who they say her best friend left her to be gang raped. Yeah. I can't go no further. So I'm going to shut it down. All right, y'all. I think it's time. Talk to each other. I'm talking to those of you who are still in love. All right? This is not a show on counseling or nothing like that. That's not this one. I'm just talking to you people who are newly and falling in love. You leaving one person on your way to another person, okay? That's your choice. That's not this show, all right? Then y'all talk about your relationship. Spiritually. Talk about it. Sit down. Talk about it. See what the response is. And watch the response and base your future off of that response. If you want to continue in it, or do you want to work with this person to see if they could get bigger understanding, because sometimes people don't know who God is because no one properly introduced him. You understand what I'm saying? No one properly introduced him. So you're now with someone who's never been properly introduced to God, and now he has no idea who God really is, other than a person who pays his rent, his mortgage, or his car note. You see what I'm saying? Heal him when he's sick. He's not a person that I'm supposed to worship. I shouldn't have to pray to him all the time. It's just he's supposed to be someone who's the puppet in the sky who's supposed to give me things. He wasn't properly introduced. So when you ask this man about his relationship with God, he's going to tell you those things about God. And then you decide, ladies, how far do I want to go with this? He needs a teacher. and I'm not able to teach him. I don't want to do no evangelistic dating. You don't want to do that. I did that show out here in the Romance in the Park. I think it was part 2 or 3. Evangelistic dating is a very dangerous thing to do, and he's going to take you down because you're not strong enough. Move on. Move on. Their foundation may not have been right. That's right. So move on. Okay. Other than that, if you think you're strong enough and he's strong enough to a point where you guys could build each other up in that which is spiritual, then go ahead. Y'all hang in there and hang around safe places. Go to safe places. Okay. Where you guys could be poured into spiritually. It'll work. It can work. All right, y'all. It's Sunday night. I'm sure you guys had a great Sunday, a day of Sabbath rest, and at your services, if you did go. Y'all see, I still got my town, so I ain't been home yet. I'm about to go home. My daughter is in town. I'm about to go home and love on her. She goes back to college in the morning. I got to drop her off. So I'm going to get home and smell the perfume in my house. It's good to smell, brothers, it's good to smell perfume in the house. You don't understand if it's from your wife or your daughter. It's just good to be in the bachelor's pad and you walk in there and there's 2 things you smell. You're going to smell cooking and you're going to smell perfume. And just to smell that in the house after not smelling that for years, it's just a beautiful welcome. Yeah, so I'm going home. I think my time is up. All right, good night, Vanessa. Tina says, can you talk a little more about being unequally yoked but saved? Why couldn't you work through that? That's not tonight, Tina. It's an hour, and the show was supposed to be an hour long. It started off 30 minutes, now it's an hour. Can't do it tonight. So I'll do it, I'll have to do it next time. In the office, though. Yeah, that's one of those Sir Walter Jones in the office on the radio topics, and I'll do that then. All right. So good night to you, Tina. I appreciate you, and the rest of you who are on here. 17 of us. Let's talk about it maybe tomorrow. All right. I get up early now. I'll be getting up about 5-6 a.m. now, starting my day. All right. Taking on something. Yeah, I'm taking on something, so y'all pray with me. But my day will start between 5 and 6 a.m. now for the month of October. Every day, at least Monday through Friday. All right? So y'all pray with me because I'm trying something. And I think it's going to work. All right? Love you guys. Have a good day. Enjoy your life. In your bed, your pillow. Okay? Thanks for watching. Hit the share button if you can. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Share with your friends. Good night to you. Love you guys. It's the Walter Jones Show.